Hi everybody, it's Mary from Sweet Little Dream Seekers, and for those of you who don't know me, I am a children's gentle sleep coach. I help support and give advice to parents of sleep deprived infants, toddlers and children between the ages of 4 months and 6 years to happily nap through the day and sleep soundly through the night. So today I wanted to talk to you about weaning the dummy. It's a lot easier to introduce the dummy than it is to get a shot of it. So what I thought today I would do is give you my top tips on how to do that after this. Does your little one have a disturbed sleep pattern? Irregular, sporadic, short or no naps? Have early wakenings? Have no sleep routine? Have night terrors? Exhibit irrational, grumpy, tired behaviour? And because of this, are you exhausted, stressed, dreading the mornings, depressed, playing musical beds, concerned, having frequent arguments with your partner, irritable, not a good place to be. But there is help out there. Sweet Little Dream Seekers, let me help you help yourselves. Visit and contact me at www.sweetlittledreamseekers.com and my Facebook or my mobile. Look forward to hearing from you soon. Okay, so the way I see it is there's two methods to getting rid of the dummy. It's either you go down the gradual approach or you go cold turkey. But whatever method you decide to use, I've got a few tips that might support you with either. So first and foremost, I think it's important to be aware of how important the dummy has been and is to your child. This is what helps them get to sleep. You know, when they're upset, you give them the dummy, it kind of calms them down. It just takes the edge off any kind of emotional things that go on throughout the day. So they are really attached to this. So I would suggest the first thing you do, before you actually do anything about taking the dummy away, the first thing that you do is introduce a substitute. Okay, so it could be a favourite teddy bear, it could be one of these velour things with a teddy on the top. I'm sure, you know, most of you have got those in the cupboard. And so introduce that. Initially they might not be wanting to take it, they might just drop it at their back, but if you persevere with that, just keep giving them it, And so every time you're playing with them, every time you're cuddling them, you give them it, and eventually, hopefully, they'll take it. So once you're at the point where they're accepting that, then maybe you want to start thinking about getting rid of the dummy. Preparation and planning is really important. Okay, so if you are moving house, or you're going to have another child, or there's some big event happening within your family unit, I would suggest you hold off with removing the dummy until the dust has settled. The other thing which is really important is the planning. So you plan ahead, you have told everybody within the family, anybody who looks after your child, what your plan is, and they know that, you know, dummies are off limits at certain times, or whatever you have decided, they know about that they're not going to then go and introduce a dummy to your child and it scupper all your plans. I would do it sooner rather than later. So if your child is, you know, under a year, then perfect. Get in there, get rid of the dummy. The sooner you do it, the easier it will be. Obviously, the older your child gets, the more strong-willed they become, the more aware they become. It just is a game changer, and it makes for a more difficult transition. So if you are in a position where you can do it when they're really little, then I would suggest that you do it then. So practice those distractional techniques, something you do as a parent all the time, but you're going to be doing it even more when you take that dummy away, because your child is going to be in situations where they're going to want their dummy. So if you can preempt it, distract them, then obviously there's going to be less tears. Hiding the dummies, so make sure, you know, often we as parents buy in bulk and there's lots of dummies lying about. So if you've made a decision that you're going to get rid of the dummy, or you get rid of the dummy at certain times, you don't want dummies lying about, so you make sure you've got all the dummies have gone, they're all packed away, and there's not a chance that your child can go along and find one under the sofa when you 3 days into this plan, which is going really well, you know, he's gone and he's got himself a dummy, and that kind of ends up knocking you back a few steps. So I would say that is really, really important. For those children that are a little bit older, obviously you can talk to them, and I would say over the course of a few days, you know, talk about getting rid of the dummy and how important it is to, you know, your child's growing up, you know, none of their friends have dummies, and that wouldn't it be really nice to give them to the dummy fairy, or put them in the garden, or give them to the baby next door, whatever, you know, that's a really good way of kind of softening things for your older child who's more aware of what is going on. And as I say, I would plan ahead with that one. I wouldn't suggest that, you know, the same day you say, right, okay, the dummies are going and that's it, you're not going to get another dummy. I would say that you're going to tell them on a certain day in the week that the dummies are going to go wherever, and they're very involved in that, so they buy into it, and I would say that's what to do with your older child. Now, the gradual approach, obviously, as I say, plan ahead. Possibly a good idea would be to reduce the amount of contact that the child has with the dummy, so only give it when they are napping and when they're sleeping. So as I said earlier about the comforter, the substitute comforter, give them the substitute comforter instead of the dummy for the rest of the day, and be aware of, you know, certain circumstances where your child's going to ask for the dummy. Be ready with distractional techniques. And then once you've kind of consolidated that, so I would maybe just leave it for a little while, just stick to doing that, and then, you know, watch how they how much they need the dummy when they are falling to sleep. So if it is that, you know, during nap times they actually don't use the dummy a lot, then maybe it's worth just trying to take the dummy away from them at that point, and then just sticking to having the dummy at night time. Now that does work for some children. It's absolutely fine to have a dummy at night and not through the day. They don't get confused with that. However, it might be that you can't do that, it doesn't work for you, in which case you will have to implement a sleep plan and support your child when you take the dummy away. So you're going to support your child getting to sleep without the dummy. Okay, and so for those of you who are extremely brave, it is the cold turkey, and it is a scary thing, but if you're all singing from the same song sheet and you are consistent, persistent and determined, and then within a few days you probably have a child who can go without. But remember all the tips that I've given you, which will hopefully support and help you too. Okay, so hopefully that has been of help to you. It'd be really interesting to know if any of you mums, dads out there have got any other techniques that you've used to get rid of your children's dummies. So till the next time, hope all your bedtimes are peaceful ones.